a new Bray Wyatt character coming soon. We'll talk about it. Plus, AEW officially signed an ex-WWE talent and an AEW star hints at retirement. It is all in the wrestling news right now. The return of Bray Wyatt has been the talking point of the wrestling world for the past week. It has just, I think that you said it best. It's rented a space in your head, isn't it?
Oh yeah, like every waking moment. A lot of the hours of the day.
No, for me it's every waking moment.
Every waking moment has been spent just like watching it, poring over it, and that's the beauty of Bray Wyatt, right? Is you could just sit there for the longest time and speculate on what could potentially happen now.
You know when something's good when like non-wrestling fans bite on it as well. I showed the return of Bray Wyatt to my wife-to-be, the good lady. It's nice saying that. To which she went, "It's all right, that."
Hi,
So you know it's landing.
Brutal.
Some trademark news that gives away possibly another member of the extended Bray Wyatt family.
Ooh, excited.
We like a bit of trademark news, don't we?
Surf that wave.
Riding on the wave of trademark news.
Yay.
Cowabunga, copyright. Here comes a copyright circle. Big word.
Whoa, dude, catch it, man.
What a gnarly USPTO. WWE has filed 2 trademarks that have caught our eyes as if by an eye magnet. Uncle Howdy and Uncle Harper, both for entertainment services. I defy you to tell me, Andrew, that these aren't puppets for Bray Wyatt's shenanigans.
I mean, Uncle Harper is very on the nose, isn't it? Uncle Harper is very on the nose. I think I've seen a lot of people speculating online as well, sort of like the symbolism from Bray Wyatt's return. So we had the door and the blue light coming through, very sort of reminiscent of when Brody Lee did the...
He was the chosen one for the Dark Order.
Yes, the chosen one for the Dark Order. We had like the little sort of promo package that he did where he was in the corridor and the light was like shining through the corridor, the blue light. And also sort of the mask as well that Brody Lee was wearing during his time in AEW. I think a lot of people have been like, oh, it's a little bit reminiscent of what the Sister Abigail looking character, the Abby the Witch looking character, is wearing as well at the same time. So, I mean, with sort of the relationship obviously between the two, I mean, it would be I could see Bray wanting to sort of honor one of his most dearest, closest friends in something like this.
Yeah, of course. If in case you're not aware where we're at with this, Brody Lee worked in WWE as Luke Harper.
Yes.
So Uncle Harper feels very much like it's. I can see it on Friday now. I can see a Firefly Funhouse. Hey kids, look, it's Uncle Harper.
Yeah.
Yay! And it looks a bit like Brody Lee.
Yeah.
I could see that being, and I'm for it. I'm for it. The one thing I love about Bray Wyatt's thing for tomorrow night is we have literally no idea how it's going to manifest, because there is so many routes you could go down, so many threads you could pull to make that character on Friday and make that return on Friday. Do we see more spooky puppets in the crowd? Is it more QR code? Do we actually see Bray Wyatt still in the ring and he delivers a sermon on the mountain? Do we see a Firefly Funhouse episode? Do we see The Fiend attack someone? Do we see Huskus eat a shoe? I don't know what we see. It's intriguing.
It's one of the most exciting things about the character as well. Because, and just literally just what you said there, you just don't know what's going to happen. And that is the most exciting thing you could possibly, I think as a wrestler or as just an entertainer, that's the most exciting thing you possibly could want to be, is have that like that aura, that mystique around who you are.
It's what we want to have.
It is what we want to have.
I got it right in the end. Now, next week on NXT, we'll have a Raw and a SmackDown star fighting. At the request of Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade. But that won't be the last time we see main roster nonsense on the white and gold. Isn't that right, Andrew?
No, so Fightful Select here saying, if you've been enjoying seeing Raw and SmackDown talent on NXT, then you are indeed in luck. Fightful Select has been told that the crossover between Raw and SmackDown talent on the NXT brand is set to continue, even after the slight rebrand that we've seen on WWE's Tuesday night show. Sources told sources that Fightful spoke to say that the crossover has been beneficial for NXT in numerous ways. One pointed to the increased consistent viewership of the last couple of months. Another highlighted the fact that talent brought in can evaluate those they work with and help establish where they are in their preparedness for Raw and SmackDown. In addition to the experience factor helping out with the roster, I think this is a great idea, a great shout as well.
It's all about giving NXT talent the chance to be seen and work with main roster talent.
Yes.
And then they could, no better evaluators than the main roster guys who can go, yeah, they're good, they're ready to go.
Exactly. Like I think that's the perfect thing to do. And also, if some of these NXT people have a little bit of back and forth with some people from the main roster, then that also gives them something to do when they go over to the main roster too.
Yes, because the one thing they want to have is consistency between the brands.
Yes, and Triple H has spoken about this before as well. It's going to be more consistent between each brand.
Will we see Raw and SmackDown stars on NXT again? Yes. Will NXT run big buildings? No, not yet. Shawn Michaels was on the MMA Hour and said, at the forefront, I'm more focused on getting developmental and developing the young men and women that we have passed through here, getting them prepared for the main roster. In the process, if we're able to build back this brand where we can get back into those arenas and start selling them out, that is a bonus. I can say, honestly, that is not the goal. That's the goal right now. To me, I'm focused on the development of these young men and women. But I tell you, the more people we can get to have that experience that can filter through our system, it's only going to help. So basically, I'm saying right now that arena shows are off the cards, and that is a sad admission for NXT, because there was a point where takeovers were taking over arenas.
Yeah.
And the last time they did that was the WrestleMania weekend, and it was a bit sad. It was a bit sad.
Yeah.
And it was there were people who were sat at the front or sat on the hard camera side, and I think Alex McCarthy was there, and I love Alex McCarthy these days. And he took pictures of some of the matches. Like, he loved the show. It was a great show to watch. But he was taking pictures, and it was just like empty seats all around the way from the hard. I know, obviously, behind the hard cam, there's got to be empty seats because you need all that space. But even in the bits like around where it should be empty, it was empty. It was a really, really troubling sight to see. And yes, and the noise as well. When you watch that show, the crowd weren't into it at that point. I'm excited for us to get there, but it's all about the journey, isn't it?
It's a different time, isn't it? I think obviously back then when takeovers were doing those big things, you had people on the shows that were already sort of established in other wrestling promotions and on the indies and everything too. So I think that factors into people being like, well, I know that person, I'll go to that show. Whereas now, it does feel more like developmental. These are stars that not necessarily everybody knows about and don't have that name value as some other people in prior NXT maybe had when they finally got to there. Yeah. So it makes a lot of sense. And I think it makes a lot of sense to be like, let's just focus on the development aspect. Let's just focus on getting these people on this roster now, like, up to the standard of going on to the main roster. Let's just focus on that rather than being like, let's try and sell out big shows and everything. Yeah,
let's build that, and let's let the big arenas happen organically.
Yeah.
Rather than trying to,
Yeah.
Maybe the sellout at the Gund Arena is the friends we made along the way. Just a thought. It's not called the Gund Arena anymore, sadly, though. It's been speculated for the past week. Not the Gund Arena, but there's something different. It's now been confirmed by Tony Khan himself, who is All Elite, Andrew.
After numerous reports, it's been officially confirmed by TK himself. Renee Paquette is All Elite. Tony tweeted, "Welcome to the team, Renee Paquette. Renee Paquette is All Elite. Paquette was in Toronto last night, which was the home of AEW Dynamite."
That was presumably where she put the old ink on the paper to sign.
Yeah.
What's Paquette gonna be doing in the Dynamite zone, Maggle?
I mean, I think from Dynamite. On Dynamite, it was said that there was going to be a sit-down talk with Renee Paquette, and she's going to sit down with Danielson and Wheeler Yuta. So whether we get, like when Jim Ross does the sort of like the promo backstagey bits where he sits down and talks with people, maybe we get something like that from her.
I like the idea of her doing those sort of heavyweight interviews.
Yeah, definitely.
In that role. I'd like to see her do a bit of commentary.
I was going to say I'd like to see that too.
I mentioned this with Jack the other day, is that I don't really think she got a fair piece of the wedge.
Yeah.
Really, before she got moved away from it. So I'd like to see her with a bit more freedom do that. but we'll see. It's a good shout to get her on board.
It is.
And as we talk about somebody joining, possibly somebody signing off soon. Dustin Rhodes put out a tweet saying, "Man, old age has caught up to me, guys. As much as I push myself beyond my limits, I can honestly say I'm doing some heavy thinking about the next step. We all think we can go forever with new batteries, but time comes for us all. I'm kind of scared, to be honest. Hashtag keep stepping." It's sad to hear, but I think the thing is with the Dustin Rhodes, that even when the time in ring comes to an end, he has a lot to offer.
He's got so much more to give.
Yeah, he's already doing that with the Nightmare Factory.
Yeah, exactly. He'd just be, an incredible person, I think, to have backstage with all his knowledge about wrestling and just everything that he's done in the business. I also think it's a good thing for someone to be like, okay, no, my time is actually coming up. Maybe I should just stop before anything bad happens, and just focus on giving to other people, which I feel like is what Dustin would do.
Yeah. He'd be very. He'd make sure that you never forget the name.
Yeah.
Of Dustin Rhodes. We'll have more wrestling news throughout the day at cultaholic.com. Keys.
Love you. Bye.